But I see we got a little topic here. I know Mike specifically wanted to talk about your top 5 defensive ends of all time. I don't know who want to go ahead and start it off, but the floor is yours.
Hey, it doesn't, like I said before, man. You can give out 5, but I want to give. You can give 3, but if you have 5, you can give out 5. But I'm gonna just say this right off rip, man. I don't know if you guys have ever seen even the highlights. Like I'm just gonna call him a pass rusher. But like this guy is obviously the greatest of all time. I don't think there's anybody better than your boy LT, man. LT was an absolute. That dude was a nightmare. Like his mentality, to get after the quarterback, his ability. He was physical. He was fast. He could tackle. He could cover. Like this dude could do it all. So my number one of all time, like not defense. Like he was a defensive end in a lot of situations, but they play in a 3-4. So you can kind of say he's both. But I got to go with LT first. And the second one for me, man, I got to give Dwight Freeney his credit. Dwight Freeney doesn't get a lot of credit because of the team that he played for with Indianapolis. Like this dude, it seemed like every year, this dude was putting up 10, 15 sacks. And he was doing it consistently, getting after it. And then when he came here, man, played with the Atlanta Falcons 16, man, we kind of saw him at the latter part of his career, but he was still putting up numbers. I think he had like 8 sacks that year. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude did this in the latter part of his career. So my second one is, my second one is Dwight Freeney, and the third one, it's kind of a little bit unorthodox, but I got to give Michael Strahan his credit. Michael Strahan was not like he wasn't super athletic. He didn't have a lot of speed, but this dude, for somehow, some way, every year he could end up with 10 to 12 sacks every single year. And that's what I say with a lot of people. It's like they look at all this, he run a 4.3, he can jump, he got this type of, a 50-inch vertical and all that type of stuff. Michael Strahan, there wasn't nothing special about this dude, nothing special about him. But every year, this dude got 10, 15 sacks. Every year, he got 10, 15 sacks. So that's my top 3, man. I'm gonna just go with 3 and pass it on to the next.
Y'all want to go? Y'all want me to go?
All right, Drew, you go ahead and take it.
Okay. So Mike said one that I was gonna go with. I'm gonna go from my generation in like the early 2000s because that's when I was like a teenager and I really started to break down the game. I would have went with Lawrence Taylor, but I was really young when Lawrence Taylor was actually dominating the league. So I'm gonna start off with Dwight Freeney with the Indianapolis Colts. Like you said, everywhere he went, he put up numbers. Even later on in his career after the Falcons, he went on to play for the Arizona Cardinals, and he still was still balling. So that guy with those pass rush moves, that spin move, he actually had a patent move. That spin move that he would do, and he was an undersized defensive end, and he would put up numbers. He was just a beast. You couldn't block him. He could use power. He could use his hands. He could spin. He had so many different moves. He kept you off balance. And I think that's what made him a great pass rusher. Number 2, I was going to say Michael Strahan too, but I'm going to go a little bit different since he said Michael Strahan. I'm going to go with Von Miller. Von Miller is another one of those guys. Whoa. He dominated. And that year, a lot of people don't realize Peyton Manning was on his last leg, and Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware with the Broncos, those guys were wreaking havoc on the league. Like Von Miller winning that MVP, got that huge contract. He's one of those guys coming in out of Texas A&M. A lot of guys didn't see, him being a dominant pass rusher because he's another guy that's not the biggest guy. He's more like an outside linebacker, but he's athletic and he knows how to use moves. He don't just use speed rush every play. He's a guy that uses speed to power to speed, uses his hands, could do that spin move. He's kind of like the modern day Dwight Freeney. So he's another guy that's been dominant in the league in the 2000s. And then my last one, man, it's a lot of different guys that we can go with here. I'm trying to think because Mike said a lot of good ones. I'll say Jared Allen because to me he's a guy that was kind of like what Mike was talking about. Jared Allen was one of those guys that wasn't super athletic. Ooh, when he was in Minnesota, he was a guy that he was a dog, man. He wasn't a guy that had a ton of athleticism, but he had effort. Like you could not, his motor never stopped. And he was a guy that actually got Ray Edwards paid by the Atlanta Falcons because he was on the other side just eating. And he went on to play with the Panthers. Yeah, man, he was one of those guys. He was eating, dog. He was eating. He was one of them country boys, and he was a dog, man. He just had a motor. He kind of was like a John Comiskey, long, tall, country strong, and you couldn't stop him. Like he was just one of those guys. His motor never stopped, and he was one of those guys in Minnesota that wreaked havoc on the league. So I think he's kind of like that modern day, that Michael Strahan. That when you looked at him, he wasn't super athletic, but he was dominant in his time in the league. So that'll be my 3.
All right, I'll go next. I'm gonna go with 5, but the way that I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna give you 3 of my modern, and I'm gonna give you some 2 old school ones that I've seen. But I'm gonna start with my 3 moderns. I don't see how y'all could have left Julius Peppers off this list.
That was gonna be mine.
Julius Peppers, yeah, he vicious.
Julius Peppers. Oh my goodness. You talking about athletic freak. This is what Zion Williamson should have been doing now. Because you talk about a guy that was an athletic freak. Like Lawrence Taylor was an athletic freak at his time. This guy, Julius Peppers, was an athletic freak. Because he could run stop with the best of them, and he pass rush like a motherfucker. And he used to give us problems. My second one is kind of another athletic freak that I was a bit fan of, and that was Javon Curse.
Oh, yeah.
Javon Curse. I used to love his game because, like I said, he could speed rush with the best of them, but he was so powerful. It was like, wow. He just stood off the screen. And like I said, third one. Damn, that one would be kind of tough on that third one. I'm gonna go with my 2 old school ones though before I get to that third one. Like I said, since I use LT, I'm not gonna use that one. I'm gonna say Deacon Jones because he put terror in everybody. From
old school.
From the clips that I saw, bruh, you needed to pray on God that you wasn't blocking against him. Jesus couldn't save you on that one. And you have to think about it, when Deacon Jones played, sacks wasn't even a stat. So no telling how many sacks he actually really had if they counted it from the beginning of his career. And by another old school one, I gotta put Reggie White up there. He'll pray for you before the game, but during that game, boy, the demons came out of his the demons came out his ass, boy, and it was like you couldn't stop it. And I'm gonna go one more. This kind of a new school one, and like I said, you kind of use Dwight Freeney on that. I would definitely have to go with Terrell Suggs.
Okay,
T-Sizzle.
That's a good one.
I was gonna throw Elvis Dumerville in it because you talking about undersized. This motherfucker was super undersized, but
very undersized.
I had to put T-Sizzle in there. And what more do I need to say? He had the best Sunday night introduction intros. You know, T-Sizzle from Ball Hall University, and he go out there and he knock your block off.
Yeah, I agree. So here's my list. This is when I first actually started paying attention to football as I got older. A lot more football, a lot more. Jason Taylor from Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
Man, he was about 6'6". That man, that man was frightening. He was frightening. I want to say like early 2000s, like I think it was 2000 or 2002. But that man racked up like 19 sacks. He was just a monster. Like it was like him. It was just crazy. Jason Taylor was just that guy for his size and that frame. Super good. Another one I would suggest is DeMarcus Ware. Don't forget about DeMarcus Ware. Like, that was another one that was really good. Played for the Cowboys for a very, very long time, and then took his talents to Denver, and then made him and Vaughn a duo. That was a sick duo. You wouldn't want. How does a team defend both DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller at the same time? Like that's scary. Like, nah, man. Another one that's a really good sleeper. He was also a Colt. He was on the opposite side of Dwight Freeney. Robert,
I know where he going with us. I know I knew it was
Robert Mathis. Man,
I knew it was coming.
That man right there put up almost 20 sacks, I want to say, about in 2013. That was another sleeper as well. I do got one old school one. I wasn't born, but I was like hearing like all like my cousins, my uncles talking about this guy. But Ed Too Tall Jones, bro, what? What kind of animal is that?
I seen him highlights.
Wait, 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah.
What are y'all feeding that man?
You don't get a name like Too Tall for nothing.
Like, bro, what? Like, he just sticks his hand. All he gotta do is just stick his hands up. That's it. And he bat the ball down. That's scary. 6'9"? How do you guard that? But that was a name that was like super, super crazy. I was hearing like Ed Too Tall Jones. I'm like, okay, this guy gotta be like 7 foot, but damn near. But that's scary, man. I want to throw out one more that none of us said. Bruce Smith. I heard a lot about Bruce Smith, definitely from Buffalo.
Oh my God, man.
Oh yeah, he was a terror.
Frightening.
Yeah, that was a good one too. I'm trying to think. Joe Green, that's another one. That's another good one. Joe Green for all the oldies. Joe Green.
Joe Green.
Howie Long, we see him all the time. He was good.
Yeah, the Oakland Raiders. Howie Long.
Yeah.
Oh my!
We can go all day with names.
Like I said,
Look, man.
It was so many pass rushers. It's like even from the 2000s on now, it was so many pass rushers.
We gotta throw an honorable mention in there, K Styles. I don't mean to cut you off, but we Atlanta fans, so we gotta throw John Abraham in there. John Abraham
definitely.
John Abraham was a baller. When he came over from the Jets, to me, he's my favorite all-time Atlanta Falcons pass rusher. I'm sorry, Jonathan Abraham. I used to call him Father Abraham, like out of the Bible. John Abraham, man, he was that dude. He couldn't be blocked. He had all the moves. He was that dude. He the guy that they need to bring back and teach these guys how to pass rush. John Abraham was that man.
I love when he do that.
Yeah, because the people don't forget, man. He was even more of a terror with the Jets.
He was a monster.
He was a terror with the Jets, and we got that. Oh man, I ain't even put him in there. But like I said, you got to throw at least 2 honorable mentions in there. So, Ju, what's your other one? You gotta get one more in there. I got myself.
Look, man, I want to go with another Falcon because we're Falcons fans. So I gotta go with another Falcon. And I'm gonna give it to the boy Chuck Smith. Because when those guys in 98, 97, they said they had a bad year, and then they later on in the year they picked it up. In 98, that defense was dominant. Like for them to go and beat that Minnesota team, that was an all-time great Minnesota team. Chris Carter, Randy Moss. Like to beat that team, nobody's seen them going to Minnesota on the road and getting that victory. So I want to throw Chuck Smith in there, man, because Chuck Smith is one of the greatest Falcons pass rushers, and he's one of those guys that had moves as well. So we got to throw Chuck Smith in there. And as an Atlanta Falcons fan, our players don't get the respect they deserve. So I want y'all to put some respect on his name, Chuck Smith.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you got a couple honorable mentions yourself, man.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I think we cover.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think this guy deserves a lot of credit, and I don't think he gets any credit, to be honest. This might sound crazy to me even saying this, but like if you go back and check out this guy, played for Pittsburgh, played for the Carolina Panthers, but
Kevin Green.
I think Kevin Green, man. Kevin Green was a monster, man. Like that when he was healthy. Man, that dude, every time I turn around, he's hitting our quarterback. He's in the backfield. Like this dude was an absolute monster. Kevin Green was something else. That long hair, just like, bro, like, will somebody block this dude? Get this dude off of my freaking quarterback. Like this dude was a monster. So,